All right, we're just waiting for break. Come on. Listen, we're going to talk about investments tonight. And what I want you to do, if you can, go to our website at tsmitchell.com. All right, our website is tsmitchell.com. You go to the Educational Center, and you'll be able to find some of the articles we'll be speaking about tonight. One is 4 Good Reasons to Invest. We're going to talk about your investment IQ. But the main thing is we want you to tune in and hear from you today.
Welcome back, North Nation. You're listening live to Power Over Tomorrow with our resident financial advisor, Tyrone Mitchell.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Power Over Tomorrow. I'm your host and resident financial advisor, and tonight on Power Over Tomorrow, we definitely want to hear from you. Continue to hit us up on Facebook. Continue to hit us up on Twitter. But most importantly, continue to just give us a call at 619-924-0933. Again, 619-924-0933. And before I get too far in my program, I definitely want to just give a shout out to the song you just finished hearing. That song was called Trust Nobody But God. Trust Nobody But God. And that is coming from our gospel indie artist, Kimberly. I'm not stuttering. That's her name. It was so nice. She said it twice. Kimberly. And Kimberly will be in the studio this Saturday at 3:15. So please make sure you tune in here on Source Radio Network to hear her and about her endeavors, especially her work as an independent gospel artist. Trust nobody but God. And hey, that song is so apropos, is that when we venture into understanding the aspects of finances, when we venture into moving in areas that sometimes are uncommon to us, we have to find ourselves aligning ourselves with someone we can trust. It's important to understand that one person doesn't know everything. And even when people come to me and they say, well, Mr. Mitchell, can you help us with this idea? Can you help us with this investment? Can you help us in many different areas? There are times, and I will let you know, there are times where I have to pull in other resources such as other professionals who may be more experienced in areas. But the key to it all is that each and every person, when we sit down and talk with them, they need to develop and understand a team approach. Just as we're speaking about the financial foundation and how to build a solid foundation, the foundation in itself is not just one thing. It's not just all about insurance. It's not just all about investments. It's not just all about taxes or maybe cash flow. While those are all parts of what we do, it's not one is more important than the other. Think about the table. Think about your dining room table. You can't really say one leg of that table is more important than the others. Because if one leg is weak, no matter how strong the other 3 are, the table is still going to be off balance. And if you put your hard-earned cooking, you work so hard to make that meal, and you put it on the part of the table that's unbalanced, guess what happens? The table tips over, and everything is ruined. So you want to make sure that the financial foundation, the legs of which your lifestyle is built upon are strong on all parts. We spoke about, as I mentioned earlier, about the behavioral side, and that is understanding where it all comes from. Understanding about the savings part, understanding about the investment part, understanding about the insuring part. All these things come together. So we take each step, look at it, review it, and then come to know it in a more perfect way. We spoke about insurance aspect, the risk management, because insurance is not to replace you. It's to replace what? It's to replace the money that you provide. That's what insurance is. It's also a term called leveraging. When you leverage, you take what you don't have and use other folks' money to make sure you have coverage for what you need. That's leveraging. That's insurance. And NWA says that's OPP. All right, be careful now. I mean property. Okay. But look, what we're speaking about tonight is the aspect of understanding investments. Investments. No matter where you go, you're going to invest in something. You either invest in your time, your talent, or your treasure. No matter what, and an investment, what that truly is that you are taking something of value, putting it someplace, and looking to really for it to bring back an added value. In other words, it's money making money. That's what it is. It is a value making a value. If you spend your time going to college, you are investing in your what? Your education, in your future. Because reports will say that those who have a higher degree or higher education on average make more money than those who never went to college. And now I understand that there are both sides of the spectrum, because when you think about Mark Zuckerberg, he was a college dropout, and now, he invented Facebook and multi-billionaire. So there's spectrum. There's both ends. So therefore, you're going to have you're going to have the norm. You're going to have the exception. So, but on average, people who acquire a higher degree of education in the right field, and I want to point that out, in the right field, tend to make more money than those who don't have higher education, or those who chose the wrong field. And I definitely mean in the right field, because if you are going to college, okay, you're going to college and you're going to spend $80,000, $90,000 for a 4-year degree, and you walk out and that industry is no longer there, that wasn't a wise investment. If you go to college and you spend $15,000, get a 2-year degree, and you find a job because you got a certificate that now pays you $75,000 a year because you are part of what's called a STEM program, that's a good investment. So what I'm saying today is that no matter where you spend your time, your talent, or your treasure, you have to be wise on the return that you intend to get. Don't just go out there blindly. Make sure that when you invest, that you invest with a reason, that you are investing with an objective, that you are investing with an opportunity, so that money can make more money. We often speak about the parables, the biblical application of how we handle money. Well, you remember the story that we talked about in one of our previous shows. I think it was we were addressing the worst financial decisions made in the Bible. And one of those financial decisions, one of the worst financial decisions that we spoke about, was that the person with the one talent did not take the money and do with it what he should have. He buried it. He hid it. And then when the master came back, he said, well, I hid it because I knew you was the type of person that was going to make money, reap where you didn't sow, and all that. He had excuses. Well, like excuses, everybody can have one. All right. But it comes a point in time when we have to stop making excuses and begin to make a way. What he was told, along with being an unfaithful servant, he was also told that you could have taken my money and put it into the bank and I would have made some interest. In other words, I would have made some money on my money. You have to be wise. So when we are dealing with investments, it is important to be able to focus on what it is that we need to do. Reports will tell us that, it says 48% of Americans do not own any stock or stock-related investments such as mutual funds, according to the Gallup poll. Individuals may cite different reasons for not investing, but with important long-term financial goals such as retirement in the balance, the reason may not be good enough. Yes. When you're setting money aside, and that money has to grow, one thing you definitely have to take in, I'm going to say two things. Matter of fact, let me just stop trying to count it and then say that there are things. There are things that you have to take into account as you are trying to prepare for your future. Number one, taxes. Taxes will be paid. Whether you pay them now or you pay them down the road. When you are investing, you need to understand what tax bracket you're in, because as that money makes money, Uncle Sam wants his money. The other part, inflation. Inflation is a constant thing. Oh my goodness, I came across a news article, an old newspaper, and I'm looking at the old newspaper and I said, wait a minute, it talked about a car. A car was once $3,000, and it talked about buying a house for $30,000. We live in a time where inflation has caused. We used to be able to buy a 5-bedroom house for $30,000. Now, $30,000 can barely get you a 4-passenger car, and the house, my goodness, is up in the 200, 300,000 just for a starter home in some areas. So what do we have to do? We have to recognize the fact that inflation plays a major part in how you invest your money. If you don't count it in there, you may find yourself always behind the 8 ball when it comes to the growth of your money. So when you look at how you're investing, make sure that you have enough room in there to cover your inflation, cover your taxes, and also any fees that may be associated with having an investment account. Listen, no one works for free. I don't, and I don't expect you to. So when you're dealing with an investment portfolio, when you're dealing with an investor, when you're dealing with an investment advisor, make sure you know how much they get paid. Because if you don't, you will be looking at your statement and saying, hey, wait a minute. How come this and how come that? Always know. Know what's happening before you get involved. And when you're working with your investment, the first thing that we have to look at is, and we said this many times before, what is your objective? If we're reading the Gallup poll, and the Gallup poll is telling us that 48%, nearly half of America, do not have any stocks or any stock-related investments, that's a concern. So who's making the money? The other 42%, that money, they're growing. And I truly believe that one of the reasons why people tend not to have as many stocks or investments as they should is because of misinformation. Sometimes people begin to hear things and they say a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, the market is up. Let me jump on. The market is down. Let me run out. No. We all understand what? Buy low and sell high. We all understand that. But what do people typically do? They panic when it's low and they sell. And then when the market starts to go back up, they get enthusiastic and then they want to buy. Well, when you make moves like that, you're actually putting yourself at a disadvantage. When you're dealing with investment, you want to be able to come in on a strong investment when price is low and then hold the investment as the market rises. Because when you do that, that appreciation is where you see the growth in your portfolio. I had a gentleman one time come to me and he said, well, Mr. Mitch, listen, man, I want this stock. I said, hey, I think the stock is overpriced. Yeah, but no, it's going to keep going. I said, well, typically when a stock reaches a certain point, it's no longer attractive. So what they typically do is they will split the stock to make it attractive for new money. Well, he said, buy it, buy it, buy it. He bought the stock when it was peaking. And then when he got the stock, yes, it did split. But it split so much that it stayed low. He had more shares, but the value of the shares was so low that he was at a deficit. And that stock stayed low, low, low. I don't ever think it came back. But on the other side, I've had investors that looked at a portfolio and said they thought they wanted to get out. And I said, oh, this is the time to buy more. It's a good stock. It's been around for a long period of time. It has a history of being able to weather the storm. They took the advice. They put money in, and when that money went back up, they bought more shares at a low price. But when the price went up, that's when they saw a higher appreciation. And those are the steps that you want to take. So investments are essential to the accumulation of our assets. When we think about things such as things, toys, sneakers, restaurants. Sometimes instead of going out and buying the item, take time save a little money and buy the stock. Here's what I'm pointing at, right? All right, you like McDonald's. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy McDonald's stock right now, but what I am saying is this: whatever favorite restaurant you like to eat on a regular basis, okay? See if it's on the market. Look at the history of it. You can even call me or send me a text and we can help you do the research. But find out about it and then buy some stocks of it. So now you're not just a customer, but you're the owner. Because when you purchase stocks, when you make an investment, you become part owner of that company. Pretty soon we're going to be hearing about back to school. Kids want $150 sneakers. I'm waiting. I need to find out if what's that young man's name? Lorenzo Ball, $500 sneakers. Listen, I need to know if they got these stocks. Because if folks start buying them sneakers at $500 a pop, listen, I ain't got to buy the sneaker, but all I want is to be able to reap the benefit of the stock pricing. So that's what we do. So even if the child wants to go and buy some other sneakers, all right, fine. Not only do you get them the sneakers, but get them the stock that goes with it. And then once that child becomes the owner, or you become the owner of that stock, you know what you do? You invite your other friends to go and buy some sneakers. In other words, what they will do, in that case, you buy the stock, convince other folks to buy the sneaker, your value goes up because now it's worth more. And then guess what? The appreciation can buy sneakers for you. Those are the ways. Investing is simple. It's not convoluted as so many people try and make it. It's not. It's just a fact of knowing what you want to do, why you want to do it, how you want to do it, and then you find the right plan, the right way to do it. So why do you want to invest? Right? You want to make money. The first thing you want to say, you want to invest for the first reason. First reason is what? Before I was going to say make money on your money, but the first reason is to do this, is to be a good steward of what you've been blessed with. Taking your money, burying it in a coffee can, or hiding it in a coffee can and burying it in the ground, or putting it under your mattress. It's not going. You'll be working just like the person who had the one talent and did nothing with it. So even if you take a small portion of what you've been blessed with and set it aside and allow it to make money on money, you'll be working as a good steward. So make money on your money. All right. You don't need to have, and trust me now, you don't need to have millions of dollars to be able to invest. I tell folks on a regular basis, if you save $1.50 a day, I can show you how to buy blue chip stocks. That's all it is, $1.50 a day. All right, you might say, well, how do you do that? Give me a call, I give you an answer. All right, but look, this is how it is. Mutual funds. Mutual funds are a way to buy multiple stocks as a part of a group. As opposed to buying one stock at a time, you're buying multiples in a pool. So instead of buying, we talked about sneakers and we talked about restaurants, right? Okay. So instead of trying to buy the stock of Nike alone, because if you buy one Nike stock, if Nike goes down value, so does the value of your stock. Well, this is what you do. You can buy a stock if there was a sector, which is a group of like stocks. You buy a sector stock that invests in athletic sneakers, athletic footwear. So you'll have Nike, you'll have New Balance, you will have Reebok, you will have Under Armour, you will have Adidas, all right, and you will hope you have my old favorite Converse. You may even have some old time Keds in there too. Y'all remember Keds? Yeah. Now some of y'all wore Skips, okay? But the thing is that they all are part of that sector. So now, here it is. If one of those sneaker or athletic footwear should go down in value, you still have the remaining to continue growing because people are still going to shop. Money is going to move from one to the next. All right. Back in the day, all right, when we had Converse, all right, then we moved to Keds. So back and forth, Converse and Keds, and then Pumas and Ponies came out. Oh, I'm throwing that now. We go way old school. All right, those sneakers, that footwear came out, and guess what happened? So we moved from the Converse and Keds to the Pumas, Ponies, Adidas. All right, we moved to Nikes, Under Armour. We started, so people were still buying athletic footwear. So, but we were moving the money from one to the other. Think about it. Restaurants. There are so many restaurants that come up and go out over time. All right. Used to be, who was it? Burger King used to always say, "Have it your way, have it your way." Well, the folks had it their way and went somewhere else. And then what happened? Burger King stock went down. Remember Jack in the Box? Okay, Wendy's. I mean, we can throw it down as far as all the different places. If you bought a stock in just one of those places, when one went down in value, and oh, here's a good one too. What's that restaurant? Chipotle. Now this is how a stock value can really hurt you when you only buy one. Or the Chipotle. Chipotle a few months ago was having issues with food poisoning. And guess what happened with their stock? It dropped. Folks ran with them like they had the plague. It probably was the plague because the way the value of that stock was dropping. But did folks stop eating out? No. What did they do? They went to the other restaurants. And we saw the value of certain restaurants go up. So when you are investing specifically in a mutual fund, you're not buying the stock of one company, but you're buying the stocks of multiple companies, a sector, which is a very good way to begin your process of getting involved with investments, in particular stocks. Why? Because you spread your investment horizon. So $1.50 can be spread out amongst, who knows, 100 different companies. Now, I know it may not buy make a big dent in the company, but it gets your foot in the door. It gets your foot in the door. And if you remember the old adage of a salesman, once they get their foot in the door, be careful. Pretty soon they're going to be sitting at your table because you get the foot in the door and they can't close the door on you. Then the leg slides in. Then the hip slides in. Then the arm and the shoulder. And the next thing you know, person's inside the house. That's the old technique I used to use. All right. But when we are talking about investing, you want to make sure you get your foot in the door. Get in the game. You don't have to hit a home run because it's not meant for a home run. Sometimes you're going to have to bunt. Sometimes you're just going to have to get to first base. Once you're in the game, then you can see how the game is played. Too many of us, when we talk about we said earlier, follow the money. We're too busy chasing the money and not ever having the opportunity to see how it's played. When you think about generational wealth, when you think about accumulation, it's a process of making money on money. That process needs to be influenced or infused with new money. But you have to be wise about it. Don't always take everything for face value. Do your research. You want to make what? You want to make money on your money. All right? You want to also do what's called achieve self-determination and independence. What do I mean by that? When you build wealth, you may be in a better position to pursue the lifestyle that you want. Your life can become one of possibilities as opposed to one of limitations. That's a part about investing, is building the wealth. You want to come a part of the possibilities of life as opposed to the limitations of life. That's why you're building your wealth. So you're building your determination, self-determination, self and independence. That's another good reason. You also want to be able to, very good point, leave a legacy for your heirs. Leave a legacy for your heirs. Now, y'all heard me say this before, and if you heard it before, just hold on. I'm going to say it again. Is that the old Temptation song, and it talked about Papa was a rolling stone. Well, it said when he died, all he left us was what? Alone. What's my pen now? Well, I'm going to write this down so you can remember this. It said, Papa, when he died, all he left us was alone. That's right there. Can you see that? A-L-O-N-E. He left you alone. Well, now when Papa dies, not only does he leave you alone physically, he also leaves you. Can you see that? Alone financially. All right? So when Papa dies, he leaves you alone physically, and he leaves you alone financially. What do I mean by that? Well, it takes two incomes typically to cover the cost of living expenses in America. And if one person dies, where's the money going to come from? We understand that insurance is part of to replace that money. But you know what the mistake that many folks do when they get insurance is that they spend the proceeds. If you have enough insurance, and typically we say about 8 to 10 times your income. You say, what? Yes, here we are. And at 8 to, let's say 10 times your income, it's easier for my math. So if you're making $50,000 a year, and you have at least $500,000, $500,000 in life insurance, right? The family should not spend that $500,000. You take that $500,000, that 10 times your income, set it aside, and this is what you do. At today's rate, with the proper measure, it is not uncommon that you should be able to make at least 6%. All right? Let's say, I'll be more conservative. Let's say you only make 4%. All right? I'm going to say it like that. You make 4%. That's real conservative now. If you make 4% on that money, What does that give you? $500,000, 4%, that is $20,000 a year. All right, $20,000 a year interest. Now, let's go back to the $50,000 you was making. All right, at $50,000, okay, if you take 30% of the 50, so that's 15,000. That means that's 35,000 right there. And then you typically take another, let's say, for instance, another 10%. Okay. All right, you take another 10% for state taxes. All right, so another 10% of the 50, so that's 5,000. So now we're at 35. Now we're at 30,000. Okay, and then you typically take what for healthcare, and all another factors out of there. So you typically take out another, let's say another 15%. So no, that's a little bit too high. Let's say another 10%. Another 10% for your benefits. So out of that 10, that's another $5,000. So now guess where you are? That's 5,000 out of the 30. You're down to what? $25,000 net. Let me back that up just in case you missed it. We started off with 500,000. Actually, we started off with 50,000. 10 times that is 500,000. $500,000 worth of insurance. You take that money, set it aside. We're saying we're going to be very conservative, 4% interest. 4% interest makes $20,000 a year. Now, in relations to your take-home pay, you're making $50,000. You take out taxes at 30% at 15. You take out state taxes, all right, another 10%. You take out your benefits. You somewhere your net pay after all is said and done is about $25,000 a year. So, did you see where I'm coming from? If the life insurance proceeds invested properly can generate the amount of money that you were bringing home before you pass. So now what have you done? You continue that income stream even at the time of your passing. See, the danger with one, not having adequate insurance is that you shortchange your family in the present time. And the danger of not properly investing is that you will shortchange your family and yourself for your future. So what we have to do is understand why it's important to invest. Scriptures tells us a wise man will seek understanding and increase, will seek knowledge and increase his understanding. The scriptures also tells us that a good man will prepare for his children's children. So not only is he preparing for himself presently, and for his children, that's 3 generations. 3 generations. And all too often, we typically don't even leave enough money for folks for 3 months. All right? Because families will continue passing a hat. I'm tired of that. I don't know about you. So when it comes to planning and for the future, investment portfolios are needed. All right, so we want to do what? We want to make money on our money. We want to build financial independence. We want to leave a legacy. And then the other part is that we want to support causes that are important to us. Now, what do you mean? Support those causes. You know, many of y'all go to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. And if you don't go every Sunday, you find a way to get there on what is called the EMC days. That's right, EMC. Easter, Mother's Day, and Christmas. If you don't go every Sunday, those churches are going to be packed on the Easter, Mother's Day, and Christmas, on the EMC days. So if the church is that important to you, investing properly, you can actually leave some money to the church. You may not want to, you may not be in position to leave a lump sum portfolio-wise, but with proper investing, the interest that grows can go a long way. It really can. Because sometimes the church needs a little bit of help just to make it, or just to send people on a missionary trip, or to buy some new Bibles, or to do work in the community. Investing, support those causes. If you're not, with the church or whatever religious organization that you're a part of, or even your favorite not-for-profit organization. Some folks, who was it? What was that lady's name? It wasn't Imelda Marcos. Imelda Marcos had all those shoes in Panama. That lady with the hotels. My goodness, what's her name? When she died, she left all that money to her dog. That's right, D-O-G, dog. Oh man, and I tell you, so what I'm saying is this, she that was her cause. Now I don't know whether or not you're gonna leave all your money to your dog, and if you have a wife and children or a family, you better be careful. They may get you back up and bury you again. All right, but what you want to do is that wealth can be an important tool for impacting the world in a meaningful way. So whether your passion is the environment, arts, human welfare, or you can use your wealth to affect positive change in the community or world around you. That's what you can do. Investing allows that to occur. And we also want to look at what is called the mindset. Okay, investing, it's important. We talked about the different aspects of investments, but I think today the focus is really just on why you should do it. Investing properly allows you to have a stronger portfolio in future. Big folks sit back and wonder why, as opposed to just getting involved and taking the time to do it. So test your investment IQ. We're going to talk about that in a moment. We're going to look at your investment IQ. Many of us, we still find investing a little challenging. That's okay. That's okay, because when you're getting involved with something, you don't want to rush into it too fast. You want to take your time. You want to know how you feel about it. And when I'm talking about the investment IQ, we can look at what is it? What is the IQ? We call it your intelligent quotient. All right. Now, that intelligent quotient means that you want to take the time to see what it's about and move toward it one step at a time. The first thing that you want to do is you want to recognize what is your objective. What's your objective? All right. When you look at your objective, you want to find an investment. Every investment will have what is called a prospectus. A prospectus is the underlying aspects of that investment. Where it comes from, what is it trying to accomplish? Where will it be when it comes to what we say its investment approach? Okay, if you are concerned that certain investments may be investing in areas that you don't agree with, the prospectus will outline that for you. If you want to know what the expense ratio, we said a little bit earlier, when you're investing money, one of the things that can affect your return is the expense of that investment. So remember, every place you go is going to have some money, going to have some charges to it. Even those accounts that they say are no fee investments, charges are built in there somehow. You want to proceed. You want to proceed with those accounts that do what is called full disclosure. We're hearing something come from right now about the Department of Labor for investments. What they asking for investment advisors to be in a fiduciary state. In other words, as a fiduciary, you put the client's interests above yours as an investor, an investment advisor. Well, that's what we've been doing for 30 some odd years. And it just seems like the industry is trying to catch up. So truthfully, I'm going to say we're not having to make a major change, but we're just aware of laws that come down. And the reason for that is because we've always believed we worked at a higher standard than what was required. And when you take that approach as a client, when you take that approach as an investor, you always give yourself room for growth. And room for adjustments. So find those accounts that match your objective, minimum investment fees, all right? See how much it will cost for you to get involved, and then look at it at the point of a long-term approach. Many of us have retirement accounts. And typically, I say this, and I believe next week we'll speak on the tax planning side. Many of us have retirement accounts that we're not even using. Yeah, you still today. I come across a lot of folks who say they want to plan for their future, but they're not even using it. Because sometimes they say, well, you know what, I don't have enough money. Well, many times it's not how much you make, but it's how much you keep. When you plan it out, don't try and eat that elephant all in one bite. Eat that elephant one small bite at a time. And over a course of time, over a period of time, as you invest and that money makes money, that is what's going to help you build up. There's one thing many of us have on our side right today, and that is the opportunity to have compounding interest work on the side. There are two forms of interest when you are receiving or even you're paying. One is simple interest, which means this, is that you have an interest rate on $100. If it's simple interest, let's say for instance, the interest rate is 5%. So on $100, the interest rate on $100